Consistency in your work is wonderful. Consistency in playlists is not. Now for a new song.
The spread, illnesses, and eventual control of the purple-berry parasite. OA archive transcription number 3918.4 begins here. Hello. Record, my name is Marie de Rothschild, Junior Archivist, Class 4 of the Archive. Irresponsible spread of the purple-berry parasite by Anthony's choice and its numerous subsidiaries and former super...
You there! You need to leave. This is a holy site, traitor. Did you not hear me? You must leave unless you wish to be ushered into perfection before the rest of this architect-forsaken colony. But please, give me an excuse to kill the betrayer of our exalted leader.
Betrayer? I am the savior of the glorious dawn. I will speak with your local hierarch at once.
I don't... that is... I can't. Hierarch Wolcott! You're needed over here! So, the power to manipulate rifts. That seems,
Wolcott? Wolcott's?
Well, look here. I never
Wolcott here blamed his lack of ascension in our rank.
Well, this...
Just that I might have regretted killing everyone here if they'd not been following a disgrace such as...
Do the deceptions never end with you and your ilk? I'm no fool. But you... Yes, of course it does. Come, prove to me. Do not wander too far. My threat of violence is not to be taken lightly. The acolytes will open fire if you don't stay near me. I must admit to a certain modicum of suspicion. But consider my interest piqued.
Why is the hierarch leading outsiders to the rift?
Something of great import is afoot. No one gets escorted to the rift.
Is it time for sacrifices? When's our turn?
Acolyte Varna said he heard them talking about a device that can change the nature of the rift.
That's preposterous. There must be some tomfoolery at hand.
Is that Asa the betrayer? Why is she here? And why is she still alive?
If you can indeed control the rift, as you say, that changes things. It could force us to rethink our understanding of the rifts, but we are nothing if not truth seekers.
My aftermarket parts are prime.
By Auntie's choice and its numerous subsidiaries and former superheroes.
You there! You need to leave. Did you... I don't... So...
Wolc...
Well, look here. Well...
Just that I might have...
Do the deceptions never... Come! I must admit to a certain modicum of suspicion. But consider my interest piqued. Come, follow me.
Why is the hierarch leading outsiders to the rift?
Something of great import is afoot. No one gets escorted to the rift.
Is it time for sacrifices? When's our turn?
Acolyte Varna said he heard them talking about a device
control the rift, as you say, that changes things. It could force us to rethink our understanding of the rifts, but we are nothing if not truth seekers.
Related testing by Auntie's Choice's unlettered scientists showed that the berries were not poisonous at all. Instead, they were infected with a microscopic.
We are here. Prove to me that you... Well, I'm waiting. Show me what that device can do.
Specifically, the PvP eggs are found in every berry of an infected plant.
Gods, this should not be possible. That device borders on the heretical. You will hand it over now, and then we shall decide what...
That's right, Wolcott. You think they won't listen to me now that I've shown I have power over the rifts? How'd you fancy your former acolyte?
You're serious. You can't do that. I've been loyal to the Dawn. Please. Yes, acolytes of the glorious Dawn.
Pincer-like mandibles, which then proceed to feed on the host directly, ingesting tissue and blood along the entire intestinal tract. These worms are eventually extracted, approximately 2 centimeters in length, and they then seek out nearby purple-berry plants to lay their eggs in the ripening purple-berries. And I should add that the plants are well fertilized in this entire process. Also, as the expelled contents contain undigested purpleberry seeds, the distribution of the plants is increased, helping
Got a lot on my mind, but
to spread farther and grow better than
Commander.
uninfected ones. Perhaps unsurprisingly, scientists mislabeled this process of symbiosis, given how both the purpleberry plant and its parasite are benefited as a parasitical relationship. Given that initial classification error, it's a wonder the Auntie's Choice scientists managed to ascertain any subsequent safeguards at all. After some additional casualties, clotting and researchers discovered that co-native planetary fauna was well adapted to and hardly affected by it to any large amount. But human colonists were not so fortunate. The PvP worms disrupted the human internal biome to such a degree that the eventual correspondingly large immune response and violent explosive expelling of the berries and most of the intestinal tract. Human casualty rates were close to 100%, even when medical attention by Auntie's Choice doctors, who were more concerned with upselling unnecessary procedures or prescribing expensive ointments such as their antibiotics, a topical cream that offers no benefit to the dying patient, except possibly smoothing away stubborn wrinkles.
Don't cause any trouble.
Purpleberry's non-zero nutrition value and low growing costs, impatient Auntie's Choice
Agent!
officials
Oh!
directed their
A cultist and her extremely sharp knife.
No, that won't be necessary. On behalf of the Order of the Ascendant and her impermeable wisdom, the presiding bishop, Ruth Bassar, the presiding bishop is... She's working in Belvedere Hall's secondary courtyard. Enter the large building at the top of the mesa ahead, and the Artificer Oh no, of course The rest of the Laureate Council, look around you. I don't see a battlefield. Those in the garden have enough perspective to remain present, and to may all your problems...
was found that contained a reference to anisakid nematodes, or salmon worms, with an estimated 70 to 90% of all salmon being infected by these parasites. More importantly, the text contained the solution to eradicating these parasites. Freezing. The simple and obvious, yet untried, act of freezing the salmon meat killed the embedded followed the same procedure worked on.
Feels real nice in here. Wouldn't mind us dragging our feet so we can enjoy the warmth a little longer.
Judged too wasteful and expensive, since they increase the protein content of berries without affecting their texture or flavor in any discernible way. The microscopic egg remains were simply too small to be seen.
I'm cutting you off there. Welcome to the CAF integration. Conviction. Interested? Before I can administer your conviction, I need to ask you a question. In what area of your life do you feel you need the most improvement? Personal or professional?
Throughout the colony worlds, mindless anti-choice consumers especially purchase a large variety of purpleberry-themed foods and beverages, all of them mislabeled parasite-free.
Expand on that for me.
Live parasite-free.
You are a single gear in the grand workings of the universe, and should not expect to control all of good. Now then, a brief come now. I can especially.
You know, you do a passable impression of a scientician.
I'm
Oh, I understand you may technically count as a member, but there's a perfunctory. She sized you up almost immediately, Commander. Been softly probing you for information. I clocked her the first moment she opened her mouth. Excellent quest. Well,
by the architect. Let's talk some.
You have tuned your receiver to Grand Plan Wireless. We verify before we amplify.
We're not going far.
The uncountably best salt substitute from the Order of the Ascendant.
Act casual. You must be curious why I asked for such a discreet rendezvous. Allow me to whet your appetite for intrigue a little further, shall I? I have adequate reason to believe the Order is conducting a mass experiment on the population of Laplace's garden. The Order is not cultivating its perfect, plan-abiding society through careful ideological pruning, as the laureates would have you believe. It's simple pharmacology. Put bluntly, they're regulating the emotions of everyone in Laplace's garden through drugs in the water supply. Why would the Order want to create a society of undistractable little academics whose only desire is to advance the plan? I wonder. One could make that argument, and obviously have. The Order claims the subjects here supposedly consented to participate, but it was begun prior to the schism with the Protectorate, so who's to say? Regardless, if the Order has made some kind of took you long enough to ask. I represent a group of... So you've heard of us? Good. That makes this easier. My primary task has been to watch the Order. But I'm confident my superiors would agree. Physical proof is of far greater value than mere rumor. Nothing nefarious, if that's the needle in your conscience. We only mean to study the drug and consider all of its many applications. I know that must read as terribly vague to you, but I'm not at liberty to provide more detail than that. Well, I'm not asking you to do something an honest person would. Think of this as a business transaction, if that eases your... No. This is about control. Everything is. Most see this as a war of survival. But what everyone's really fighting for is control over the narrative. It follows that a drug capable of suppressing discontent could also be used to suppress greater forms of resistance. All you need to do is enter water reconditioning and collect a sample of the drug. I believe they call it perspective. Watch the guards, but lately, whatever you do, be discreet. I can't have any laureates asking questions about me. Understood? It's too diluted by the time it enters circulation. I need the unfiltered drug, which is only accessed outside of work, and
astronomical field of view into grids, then tagged each object in every grid. He ignored empty regions, as black would only dim the color and not change its fundamental hue. The light from every galaxy, star, nebula, and quasar was gathered and fed into the central tabulator for computation. Subsequent spectral analysis.
What a look! I remember the days when Laplace's guard. Now look at it. The fountain in disrepair, pedagogy in the war. My dear pupil, nevertheless, one must persist. There's a panel.
Saturation near 90%.
And so, my sincerest.
The addition of a variety of reds and some blues results in a more beige tone.
A second makeup exam will not be off.
At the nondescript walls of your library, classroom, or dormitory.
So I hope.
And exult.
Shh. And is there something wrong with the air recyclers? It's getting... Is that what it means by plan favorite? Stashed a few...
On one hand, kind of you to assist. On the other, ain't sure.
When that student later fails in the field due to your misplaced intercession, hopefully...
Hello, layperson.
Consistency in your work is wonderful. Consistency in playlists is not. Now for a new song.
Smart researchers patronize the scientician's surplus. Quality goods at algorithmically determined prices.
Welcome to the scientician's surplus. Either you intend to buy... It's there in the neck, of course.
Prime real estate, and it's sitting abandoned. Reckon it even... Reckon it even occurred to the order that they could board the folk at Matriarch's Mercy here?
the vacuum of space on our primary band, this is Grand Plan Wireless, the informed, sourced, peer-reviewed sound of scientism. Warmest courtesies, fellow sentents. Please collaborate in ponderance of our former protectorate colleagues. To consider them simply as adversaries is intellectually lazy. They are a subjugated population, incurious, cognitively atrophied. What horror! The protectorate overseers have much to answer for. Lest you forget why we parted professional ways, they pacify their subjects. Correction, they stupefy them with depressive pharmaceutics and relentless propaganda, unlike us. Our sum is greater than our parts. We collaborate with unforced enthusiasm for scientism, and of course to avoid undue criticism of our theses at peer review. Our estranged colleagues, meanwhile, pit neighbor against neighbor, reporting one another for nothing more egregious than independent thought. Of this we have ample evidence. Protectorate rank and file have washed upon our shores sputtering testimonials of so-called mental refreshment, a process wherein citizenry undergo chemical thought suppression. In a praetor fortress dedicated to this insidious purpose, they emerge more intellectually docile than when they entered, perfect protectorate subjects. Such deplorable practices have spurred some to action. A protectorate support group on Free Market Station seeks to rehabilitate the mentally refreshed. Free Market Station is hosting a training group to help ex-protectorate subjects think for themselves, make them productive members of a true society. We should welcome them back, our former colleagues, replace the empty promise of the paradigm with the verifiable veracity of the universal equation.
End message with automatic sign-off such as you'll never be sad when you have solutions.
How did your hypothesis about the flowers?
Hello, layperson.
Lovely day for differential geometry.
Unauthorized. Illegitimate key card. No entry. Access is not granted.
Song follows. Interested in receiving
Draft raring to go.
Visit your local predictory.
How did your hypothesis about the flowers?
Thank you for improving our efficiency.
Warning, this song mentions some actions that are improper, something your fractions should never be.
A visitor. It's for the best that you're talking to me now instead of mid-work. I do seem to have a slight propensity for stabbing random, but I suppose that's enough time spinning in the statements column. What are you... Beckett. Another prediction that he hasn't seen fit to notify me about. A more cynical exemplar might posit his doing this to be If you're here, I imagine you aim to petition the presiding bishop for her support, which is hardly a surprise. She is the most important individual in Arcadia. Really? Are you in charge of a different organization? The corporate invaders will... Moreover, once we solve the universal equation, it will benefit all of humanity. You, me, everyone. No more suffering. No more doubt. Well, I hope you'll... There is a task of pivotal importance to the Order, but I cannot... As head of the Order's exemplars, it's my responsibility to assess whose aims upon Ruth may be malicious. Prove yourself to the point. A myriad of cultists have taken over the settlement of Newton, which is a nearby site. Once there was a bridge stretching from the settlement to the archive, but it was destroyed by a rift. Best keep your distance should you travel there. From what I understand, Vicar Levin's continued existence is a mere... I'm pleased he does not lie among the ranks of the dead. But I will need a more tangible effort on your part. If the Order could predict the future infallibly, my mentors would be alive. Seers become... All that aside, journey to Newton. Eliminate the cultists to a person. Then we may speak of getting you an audience with Root. You're results-oriented. I can understand that. Fine. Newton contains the Six Pillars Chantry, which was one of the first temples founded. The cultists are likely profaning it. But I'll withhold...
Asa ought to know about this before we make a move. Otherwise, do me a favor and make sure I'm not in the vicinity when she hears...
I always find out now. How might we be of use to one another? I find myself wishing you'd been less persuasive. With the cultists alive, they'll stand to impede us elsewhere. Nonetheless, you did as I asked. You've proven yourself well, but we have recently experienced a pip. You've given me reasonable doubt that you will kill the presiding bishop on sight. But this task takes precedent. One of the satellites comprising the Hyperion. The web is an order crafted. We actually implanted a back door in the web to bring it. But let's not speak of that. Only theoretically. The protectorate guarding the site will be anything but well. I cannot say how that might be accomplished, unfortunately. Some of our scholars collect the data from the crashed site and return it here. I look forward now. How might I scarcely take time to engage in idle conversation? But who told you about that? Were there an experiment being conducted here involving any kind of medicament? The theoretical existence or non-existence of order experiments are strictly... It's not nefarious. It's a waste of time. But fine, you've made your point. Laplace's garden was built as a scholar's utopia, with this drug perspective as its regulating reagent. This was supposedly to... One would think that an organization at active war would have more pressing responsibilities than a scholar's... Specifically, a phlogistonated firearm. Great. I was just thinking, I'd love for a stranger to come along and patronize me so I could blindly hand them experimental order technology. I have nothing but... If I had to dig, I generally prefer to keep... I look forward to... Now.
You have tuned your receiver to Grand Plan Wireless. We verify before we amplify. Make Pinnacle Meal Replacement Bars the complete part of your daily meals and of the plan. Designed for optimal nutrition extraction, they also taste
No admittance without the Artificer Laureate's permission. Please direct any inquiries to the presiding bishop is not accepting visitors at this time.
Never forget, we will unlock humanity's true potential. In due course, in due time, each fulfilling our prescribed role within the grand plan. Avid followers of our predictive playlists are already aware of which song follows. Interested in receiving our weekly selection of mathematical clues? Visit your local predictory.
Hey! Only security personnel are permitted and lift access is currently restricted. Keep moving.
The Chamber of Conflict Evaluation and Strategic Planning is currently off limits to non-essential order personnel.
Traveling at the velocity of light through the vacuum of space on our primary band, this is Grand Plan Wireless, the informed, sourced, peer-reviewed sound of scientism. Please absorb this informative information, valued fellows. Spartan is no longer under protectorate subjugation. This former Order headquarters and habitation for our archive scienticians has been liberated by a most capable and violent anomalous outlier. If you think this third-party liberated Spartan for our benefit, allow me to disabuse your optimism. They worked alone, their motives inscrutable. Hopefully reason will prevail. The only certainty is no outcome can be predicted with absolute certainty, until we solve the universal equation, of course. Seers will adjust their forecasts as events unfold.
Now do carry on. And as always, anticipate and calculate.
And now, additional data and/or music determined to facilitate cognition. And now, a song from a composer predicted to have 3 well-liked melodies and become allergic to water this year.
Probability and the grand plan. There can be no discussion of the grand plan without also entertaining a deep contemplation of probability. Our ability to predict events to varying degrees of certainty is fundamentally rooted in statistical mathematics. Statistics, at top, is not but data. Data that is gathered, collated, and subjected to analysis. But what is the role of chance in that analysis? Let's look at the interpretation of pure chance. If one flips a perfectly balanced coin, it will land on heads with a 1 in 2 chance, or tails with a 1 in 2 chance. But are there really 2 outcomes? Is there not one specific outcome we can determine? Yes. With complete information, there can be no chance. Outcome. Complete information yields perfect predictions. 100% accuracy. No
So close and yet maddeningly far.
That's one of the most difficult concepts in the order for initiates to grasp. If the result of the flip of a coin is...
Ooh, this is much easier on these old eyes.
Would it not be sufficient?
On a scale
1 to 100, how pleased are you?
I hope you have good news for me. I'm charmed my name was among the first to populate your thoughts when attempting to work this. I have some protectorate contacts, and I might be willing to lean my elbow on the scales in your favor. But not you remind me of my friend. I knew I had the right person. You did sharpen my pencil, so I suppose sharpening. I'll put in a word with my associates to pass along to whatever protectorate forces are on site to expect you. In exchange for my help, however, I want you to bring the data back here so that I can make a. You've no doubt heard the phrase, knowledge is power. We do work well. Return here when you have the data. If it isn't my favorite collaborator. I thought I said we shouldn't be. No need to wait. I was assigned. Then, if I had to theorize, all jesting.
Every bit of data collected, analyzed, and input by our archivists brings us closer to our goal, to the solving of the universal equation. Probability is not enough. Guesses are not enough. Incomplete information leads to inaccurate predictions, which lead to tragedies. We must not guess. We must know. Help us know. Contribute any and all data you can collect to our proud archivists. And you too can say you contributed to the archive.
Broadcasting cognitive resonance across Arcadia, this is Grand Plan Wireless. Exactly after it's another installment of A Beggar Makes I Sigh. A listener asks, who was the charismatic mathematician, and why do we call him thus?
Truly an inquiry for the ages. We know what he was. The progenitor responsible for elevating the synthesizer to which he was as more.
I look forward to now.
Annals of history. The sobriquet of charismatic mathematician comes from his early days as a professor emeritus of cognitive mathematics.
Outsider.
His lectures were known to leave students in tears, on the verge of...
Hello, stranger. I do so dearly love residing in a nest of traitors. I cannot leave. My sovereign given tap, but now it seems as if I'm... Hate! I am here. Unfortunately, my time here has taught me that only mass death has the power to change the local hearts and minds. Perhaps enough will be alive. Which would now, anyone who didn't side with the, but my hands quit. Listen, nicety.
A chromospectral analysis. When asked about the average color of space, the famous expert Newton Otisgard replied, with no hesitation, beige. To experience lumen astronomy, his answer was the expected one. But I can already hear the obtuse listener bleating, with their faces contorted into a rictus of ignorance. Wouldn't the average color be black or gray?
Vitals critical. Don't become a statistic, Commander.
The answer is rooted in the science of how hot objects absorb limited light, which ends the
If you need to just... Oh, sometime last year, I Indeed you... Leslie Beckett. Never. That would... I vastly prefer the systole, but now I, don't suppose... Excutted prior to the war, such focused study led to all manner of breakthroughs, with audio logs routinely kept by the scientician in residence. In these unprecedented times, how unexpected. Please return when you've found all. I'm happy to answer any... How do you know about... I mean, that is quite the allegation. As you have cleverly sussed out, Laplace's garden is the subject of an experiment into social We have been administering a pharmaceutical to the population of the garden via... It's odorless, harmless...
Let me get this straight. You're here experimenting on folk freely,
I beg your pardon.
Yeah, I bet they did. Did you withhold research fund?
This experiment has the potential to improve Arcadian society 100-fold.
That's all I'm saying.
Then that is a failure on the part of your... At any rate, don't we all? Nothing beyond what I already include. His resignation. On a more positive note, the Department of Predictive Analysis's biennial summits will be far land and wild. Were his methods wrong? Unequivocally. Should he have come to me with by the architect? But let's move on to other topics. Oh, ever my word. And what a history. It was Cloister has two things in abundance. Ice and who's to... Do you think it mere coincidence? But other stray inquiries. Impossible, I'm afraid. The Protectorate, if you're determined.
Peace. Industrials. Now the fountain's broken and I... Praise the architect. I'd provide compensation. Feel that reduction in annoyance?
Ah, it's you, prime mover of the grand plan.
Agent, over here. Ah, there you are. I was informed by Gertie you've agreed to help us reconvene negotiations. With your aid, Auntie, just think of all we can remember. In the meantime, I might recommend you work on honing your oratory skills. Be the statistical exception to the natural state of... I believe our group's combined efforts are in direct accordance with the plan.
So go forth, neophytes, and as you study your lessons, stare at the nondescript walls of your library, classroom, or dormitory facility, and exult in the knowledge that beige is also the color of the universe.
I believe our group's combined efforts are in direct accordance with the plan.
This time on notable locations of scientific inquiry, we cogitate on the past as well as the future, in a sanctuary devoted to time and space. A feast for your occipital lobe and optic nerve. One of the most stunning order-made structures across the entire Arcadia system. Prepare to sense the sensational as we draw your feelings of awe to the Alexandra Monastery at Matriarch's Mercy in Golden Ridge. Set next to a colossal... Set next to it, the colossal sculpture of the matriarch carved into a pyramid.
That's right. If you're here to pick it, we pull that. Honestly, I ain't. That's right, folks. Keep the chanting going.
Cosmological data collection and subsequent rumination.
Any negotiation I ever been a part of.
Not that I've been part of many.
The observatory processes a wealth of information gathered by its giant ocular telescope. The site also has a front-facing portion to admit dewy-eyed lay people seeking edification and enrichment about our lives and matters. And those are just a few of the 36.7 qualitatively valid reasons why Alexandra Monastery counts among our notable locations of scientific inquiry.
From this frequency, less genius what comes next.
Next up, well, the seers among you already know.
Weak! Can't believe. Welcome to Auntie's fine product. I assume it was about damn time you got here. This labor stoppage has put us almost a full week behind schedule and is making me look quite the fool. Some ne'er-do-wells have incited. It should go without.
I reckon she's. And while we might.
Nevertheless, here we must focus on getting these in. Absolutely. These lugs have been positively exalted in the good fortune of rising to their limited station within the meritocracy that Auntie has derived for us. Why? Can you imagine? No. Only within Auntie's choice. You're asking me? And when I say I, it is critical that you understand that as director of this facility, wonderful. I am pleased to find you're someone who this plant relabeled. So, the workers may be unhappy. My workers are striking people now? How very ill. They've appointed some kind of leader, and I am a very important upper, middle, lower manager, and the way I advance that status scantily involved. I believe you will find him up on the landing pad with some of his minions. Go help him understand the situation so everyone can get back to work. That clear? Yes, well, best of luck to us. Welcome back. Did you make contact with,
Heads up!
If you're here to pick it, we'd love to. Don't be.
No more bottles on factory floor!
I ain't aiming to seem rude, but I got a lot to deal with right now. Unless this is mighty important, I'll respect. Then what in law's name are you doing here? Well, that certainly is unexpected. And potentially wonderful. Assuming, of course, you can. Auntie's got to prioritize worker prosperity over productivity. What we've got now is, remind me again?
An inhospitable...
Right, that.
They work 20-hour shifts, which require stims to endure that are charged at a premium. Adrena time is actually... And if that inhuman brutality isn't enough to offend basic decency, they're also barred from using the rest. It is an unconscionable condition to keep these workers in. I can't imagine how hard it is for them to coordinate their...
It has been incredibly difficult. Our shifts need to be reduced to 12 hours a day. 4 hours of personal time ain't even enough to rest, much less get any actual living done. Second, if we gotta work those long hours, we want free Adrena time. Finally, we want all-day bathroom access. Expecting us to fit our necessities into the same 4 hours is just mean. Plus, between us, most folk ain't, if you get my meaning. Yeah, well, of course you're gonna find it. We just want a little decency, a little humanity, a little compassion.
That's right, folks.
If you won't let us sleep or eat,
I can see
you
the overseer
can't
of
judge us for stimulating.
Really making her miserable.
That wasn't the song I was supposed to play. I forgot to carry the wine. The following song has been determined to facilitate abstract thinking and constructive rumination.
Reminds me more and more of Tau Ceti by the minute. If these folk burn this place to the ground, I ain't telling.
Welcome back, Auntie and I continue to have high hopes that you will come to shine under the spotlight of our illustrious. So, what are these ingrate alley sprats willing to settle for? Golden privies and gilded sheets to be spoon-fed crunch whenever they're free? Free? Giving something away for free is akin to ignoring the cost of its creation, which is one small step from the system completely breaking down and plunging us all into anarchy. And more work means more profit. More than enough to cover the cost of the stims. I see your angle now, and it's certain. Is there more, they ask? 12? I am, frankly, disappointed you would even bring me such a preposterous demand. You should have nipped this offensive arrogance in the bud. Their hero, you say? Well, I hadn't considered that. If they adore in addition to respect, that would all right, you've convinced me. They want to relieve themselves on company time? What if they lounge? What if they take time to relax? Oh my. You're probably right. It's been so long since I've shared a facility, I forgot. What more do they want? Very good. Ha! I was going to say very good, but that would be downright farcical. There is nothing good about... Welcome back. Have we finally reached the end of this little drama? Well,
That's right, folks.
With no
Get the cheers
rest
going.
and no gas, we don't pay for a drink.
Hello again. Do you have news for us about the negotiations? That's as fine a place to start as any. Well, a most promised... She willing to see free? What's next? Excellent. That must have been quite the negotiation. Well, you have...
Damn! I really felt like I was... But I'll get him next time. And he won't always have you working her angles for her. And her usually...
Next time? Against you? What in law's name are you saying? Sometimes you talk so what...
Yeah. I was
it don't matter. All that matters is my working conditions have just improved mightily. Now, if you'll excuse us...
I suppose that passes for a happy ending among these corporatists. Excellent work, dear.
And now, constructually compelling yet conscious statements regarding...
The workers have returned and production has resumed. I have already informed the Home Office, and you may tell the executives that dispatched you.
Nourishment is here. Apogee chips, shelf-stable and intestinally safe. Tomorrow's favorite snack is available today.
From the Order of the Seventh. In times of peril, remind yourself, contentment is found by accepting the role of the grand plan. Understanding your place, knowing your course, removes all worry and doubt. And now, more music to perform advanced calculations by.
Tronicular, arriving any moment now. Approaching station. Head office time.
And consume with Auntie's choice.
You look befuddled.
Welcome back. We understand you've been a very busy little mantiwa.
Yes, time is bits. Tell us how it went.
A satisfactory effort, my ameliorator. I had hopes your talents would yield a result a mite more in our favor, but...
Well...
Anything else you'd like to report? Now, that's the Your performance at that facility went exceedingly well, all things considered.
There you go again, pinning your career to that flim-flam. What do a bunch of eggheads know about marketing? Marketing it damn right. We're Auntie's choice. Real marketing is gut-driven.
It is an intricately crafted, multi-phase marketing initiative that will introduce Auntie's Choice to the rest of the galaxy and establish the foothold of our pending monopoly. It requires a series of daring, almost impossibly savvy, perfectly timed, and flawlessly executed stratagems to create optimal market positioning.
Whole thing's a load of bunco. Calculatory claptrap from a bunch of over-educated know-nothings who are so smart they're stupid. Go ahead. Tell them who devised it.
With pleasure! The archive on Cloister analyzed millions of variables with bazillions of permutations to create an idealized path for total competitive domination. Yes, suppose we should move on. Ursula, will you do the honors?
I'm the head of our proprietary insight acquisition division. Stealing our rivals' trade secrets? That's our bread and butter. We can sometimes. The Protectorate have a process called Auntie wants details on their methodology, pharmacology, and actually it's only 3. Surely you can handle twice that many tasks. I don't want to sound a few aspirational goals, if possible. If you see a chance to talk their lead scientist into joining us, and/or
which is to say, we'll make it.
See you when it's.
What nature inflicts to offer higher quality pharmaceuticals designed to be better than nature.
From pop guns to smoking gun cannons, I have whatever size weaponry you need to make all your...
Problems before someone succeeds in ventilating you.
Many rivals, but that original goal remains.
And relevant informational details for near present and future calculations. A general reminder for the especially studious: monitor. Your step when traversing between academical appointments. Do not read and walk. If you must operate near or...
Look at you rocketing up the corporate ladder.
Please take additional care. Eyes forward, noses out for academic journals.
It's high time one of you scientist types responded to my calling cards. The position... You want the role, it's yours.
Let me guess. You're backfilling Rasmussen's position? Or all the scientists who work with him on Cloister lying cold?
Both, obviously. Unless you mean to tell me a graft like yours can install itself. Now, do you want the job or not? We're burning starlight. Decent. I'll have you know that profits were forecasted.
That's not... Look, we found your lab on Cloister. But after speaking with your doc, I came to see that the program's got much potential. Rasmussen's now with Doc Tinsley in Fairfield, and they're ready to restart this work if we can get your agreement.
I see someone failed out of the anti-Cleo School of Persuasion. Why would I ever pursue something so dull as reform? How does it serve me?
Troopers are getting maimed in battle, and many civvies are getting sick from lack of food, clean water. Folk feel some creatures can regrow limbs and safely consume tainted goods. If we give...
Ah, I see now. With grafts, our employees can get back to... But there is one small fly in the soup. Who exactly are you to dictate to me?
If so, best put that out of mind right now. When I joined up in Tau Ceti, I was promised that if I proved myself, I helped hunt down the fiend who destroyed our base on Golden Ridge, fought off countless Protectorate besides. So yeah.
Fine. Perhaps there is an opportunity here to expand our user base. But we can only pursue such a thing if we secure... But I will require proof that... I do. The commander of our fortified position on Praetor, he will have all the minute details, of course, but assistant is this one. Of course it'll be danger. This here is a golden cysty pig of an opportunity. One that will reap rewards far be... It's a wonder you know the direction in which to point your weapon. And I'm certain it'll be no issue. What with our grafted star tearing through the battlefield, leaving
Grafted soldiers aren't animals. I should think an executive of your stature.
Of course I do. But you cut quite the imposing figure, much like a sprat cowering right...
They only have that understanding if they also have sense. Most sprats don't. They wander happily to their deaths in search of the smallest, richest...
Yes, well done keeping up. I could tell you possessed a modicum of business sense. Head to Praetor. I'll send a reporter...
Hold on. You didn't say...
Heroism is nothing without I haven't heard...
These eggs have been subdermally injected in the second stage of the parasite. I am getting ahead of myself. Let's examine the PvP life cycle in detail. After an infected berry is eaten
I haven't heard...
the microscopic eggs inside the berries are exposed to the host's digestive enzymes, which trigger their hatching. These parasites enter their second stage as spiky, worm-like creatures with outsized, pincer-like mandibles, which then proceed to feed on the host directly, ingesting tissue and blood along the entire intestinal tract. These worms are eventually expelled when they reach a size of approximately 2 centimeters in length, and they then seek out nearby purpleberry plants to lay their eggs in the ripening purpleberries. And I should add that the plants are
I haven't heard...
fertilized in this entire process. Also, where the expelled contents contain undigested purpleberry seeds, the distribution of the plants is increased, helping infected purpleberry plants to spread farther and grow better than uninfected ones.
You cannot be here. My contract stipulates that this lab door remains locked. Ha! That's funny, considering the heaps of times I've been called such. Is that so strange? The program I was hired for is highly confidential, though I
Well, that ain't right. Neither his managerial manner nor your working conditions.
Oh, no! No, I don't want change! I love my work. I love this place. The smell of copper.
Don't encourage this.
Fascinating! Anyhow, I assume you're not.
Graph's ready if you need a house call.
And grow better than uninfected ones. Perhaps unsurprisingly, careless anti-choice scientists mislabeled this case of obvious symbiosis, given how both the purple...
You cannot be... Ha! Oh no!
So?
Why this...
Given that initial classification error, it's a wonder the anti-choice scientists managed to ascertain any subsequent... Additional casualties, prodding anti-choice field researchers...
I haven't heard it.
Co-native planetary fauna was well adapted to the parasite and hardly affected by it to any large extent. But human colonists were not so fortunate. The PvP worms disrupted the human internal biome to such a degree that the eventual correspondingly large immune response leads to violently explosive diarrhea, resulting in the expelling of the worms, the berries, and most of the human casualty rates were close to 100.
If you have business here, don't let me keep you.
Given medical attention by
Don't let us keep you.
Good luck, my ameliorator. Remember...
You look befuddled.
That offers no benefit to the dying patient, except possibly smoothing away stubborn wrinkles.
Next, we have Reginald Oswald in proprietary.
However, given the purpleberry's non-zero nutritional value and low growing costs, impatient Auntie's Choice administration officials directed their labs to find ways to remove the parasite from the berry. A variety of methods were tested and found effective, but they were all time-consuming and wasteful of the edible portion of the purpleberry. 70 to 90% of all salmon being infected by these parasites. More importantly, the text contained the solution to eradicating these parasites. Freezing. The simple and obvious, yet untried, act of freezing the salmon meat kills the embedded parasites.
That reporter's...
I'm Arlen Crawford, the outsourced, but never outmatched war...
The name's Inez, and yes, Willard Conan sent me...
Now, let's not skip on introductions. Who is this you have with you?
Since they increase the protein content of the berries without affecting their texture or flavor.
Plays a mean hand of cards, too.
Ah, a kindred spirit. How fortunate that you've taken time away from the craps table to...
Never seen a grafted trooper in action before, but I'm looking forward to watching you work. Your mission, trooper, their defenses are...
My camera drones will be filming...
They've detained...
This is quite the opportunity. Normally, a POW might be written off as shrinkage, an unfortunate,
So what?
Our motto...
Once you infiltrate the blockade, neutralize our... Well, seeing as...
Or you could...
Though... Ooh.
More accurately, the label should read live parasite free. But in any case, Auntie's Choice once again demonstrated their contempt for and for any pretense of safety. Another reason this documentarian is great for our orders fabricated OA archive transcription number 3918-4 ends here.
You are listening to Grand Plan Wireless, Arcadia's voice of reason.
Academical greetings, Ascendants. Vicar Mug Sai here with a special installment of Ask a Vicar. Listeners want to know.
Here we are, about to kick the proverbial mantisaur nest.
Query I'm
Hope you're ready for your close-up. Damn. Of course they got a bunker mech. We need to take it by surprise, without alerting the other troopers, mind.
Prudence dictates
we run all disruptive influences.
I have a problem.
Presiding Bishop, my students wonder how we could separate from the Protectorate when arguably our order would not exist without them in the first place.
I would argue that our order would not have survived if we had remained with the Protectorate. Our partnership began more than a century ago with a shared reverence for science, unified in our mission to solve the equation and thus transcend our uncertain existence. But it became clear over time that the Protectorate was abusing scientism, our sacred theology, as a tool for controlling the population rather than ensuring their perfection. We had become complicit.
All
Our
subjects
beliefs
prosper under the
compromised.
guidance of the
Protectorate
beneficent
leadership
ruler,
didn't want the
the
order of the
Sovereign.
Ascendant. They just wanted order. And so we left.
Students point out that corporatist invasion and ensuing chaos, something our seers saw coming, certainly provided convenient timing.
Well,
Perfect society
you know as well
demands
as I do
perfect
that
thoughts.
sometimes
Perfection is
timing
impossible when the mind is a thing of symmetry.
About what's next? Just wait. Things to come our way of constantly happening. The future is close to the present every moment.
And now, as a composer predicted to have 3 well-liked melodies, he's become allergic to water this year.
Over here! Let us out!
Ain't no way to leave us here. We still got 43 months of boot camp loans to pay off. Fake law. I thought we'd be trapped in here forever.
Hey, tell me you've got a plan to deal with these guys.
prudence dictates, it is the duty of every protectorate I cease functioning selflessly, without complaint or groan.
The console provides, the system abides.
Initiating search. What was...
One assumes their intentions. You have my attention. Reporting is so neighborly, forever vigilant. Back to it. Huh? Never more content. Never more content. Trust the plan, observe set progress, sustain the system. All subjects prosper under the guidance of our beneficent ruler, the Sovereign. Better take a gander. It's over there. Don't worry, don't question, don't doubt.
Now they're asking for the history books. Let's open the gate for that reporter and the troops before these bodies get cold.
For your cerebral cortex, chronometer, until we achieve ascension. A general
Rat tingling. All dark. Looks much better.
Agitated.
I have a
Going down.
Worried? Wearing up. Moving to an entrenched position.
Damn fools are trying to fight me again.
Function.
Over here! Well, the blockade is ours now, but the way in which you captured it lacked a certain finesse, shall we say.
That hasn't stopped you lot from spinning a story before. You said something about an interview earlier. Well, I'll let...
It's audio only, Trooper, and you're working with a true professional now. Let me work, huh? Relax.
Well...
Great! Recording's already begun. I'm here, live at the scene with the fearsome crafted soldier Inez. It's a shame you can't... Inez, your destruction of those dastardly protectorate troops was awe-inspiring. You must feel like the
I'm just, doing my part. I joined up because I believed in our mission, to liberate Arcadia. Reckon my actions illustrate that more than anything I could ever say.
They want to hear sordid details, but not so sordid that it'll staunch their worst buying habits. Now focus and don't. Dear audience, the voice you just heard is that of the soldier's close associate and eyewitness. You also freed some of our troopers from the Protectorate's fiendish grasp. One can only...
Look, I did what anyone with an ounce of sense would do. Ain't gonna leave one of my own in such a state. And if I had it my way, I would have acted sooner. Yeah.
A heartwarming sentiment, but not too swift an end to the... In any case, those soldiers can finally return to their postings again.
These graphs make me stronger. Good in a bind. I know I'm a bit of a curiosity. Ain't too many of us left. But there is so much good we can do with... I got a plan, see? To start the grafting program up again. The research is promising, and with the right backing, it could be a product...
A fascinating idea. I think before we wrap, have you anything else of note to tell our undoubtedly enraptured audience?
Oh, I got one.
I see. A bit of cheeky product, and that's a wrap. You can go back to slouching or astonishingly well.
Well, that's a damn sight better.
You do that, and I will remain here burdened by...
Gray gone astray? Look us. Hey, are you mentally refreshed?
It is the duty of every protectorate subject to ensure they are operating at peak efficiency at all times. The paradigm requires it. That's why...
Our enemies envy our prosperity, disdain our and be refreshed.
It is the duty of every protectorate subject to ensure they are operating at peak efficiency at all
Broadcasting
times.
cognitive resonance
The
across
paradigm requires it. That's why mental refreshment is so important.
The mental refreshment process.
The alarm of the paradigm. Share all manner of imperfect thoughts. All it takes is some light instruction, a restorative cocktail, and a quick dip into the laser particulate will bring you in protections. I'm a head refresher, and I guarantee when you exit our doors, you'll be a productive member of our perfect society again. You'll say goodbye in perfect thoughts. Hello, content.
I don't know what in the void we just got hosed down with, but it's, kinda
Greetings,
nice.
subject. Welcome to the... You're not on my schedule. A walk-in, then. What?
This is all a mite strange.
Oh, you appear to have quit. Why, of course. It is the duty of every subject to submit for a quick mental tune-up whenever we experience imperfect thoughts or lack. Head Refresher Gould says, mental refresh. I've undergone the procedure myself. Several times, they say, and Placid Waters Wellnetarium is the primary mental refreshment facility on Praetor. Simply step over to my
At your nearest predictory as soon as possible. Any more questions?
Yes, Vicar. Because research shows the listener attention falters after a series of 3 items.
Haven't had an imperfect thought in... I can't recall how long.
We're refreshed. So refreshed.
Yes, dear. Anything on your... May all...
As your plain-speaking, relatable vicar, I'm always happy to fill your day with 2.5% more practical knowledge.
Reading. Subject unsketched. Subject query 1. Concisely characterize your personal perspective. Incorrect. The accepted query 2. Rate your present level of zealous. Incorrect. Wait. The degree query 3. Unacceptable. A perfect final query. How would your neighbors describe you? Processing. Determine the appropriate formula. 150. The acceptable amount for a true and dutiful protectorate subject is 0. Now, your realignment with the paradigm begins now.
To ensure they are operating at peak efficiency at all times. The paradigm requires it.
Ah, you've gained privileged access somehow. Our superiors must have arranged
Your
it.
realignment with the paradigm begins now.
My irregularities have all been abraded.
Aggressors in range.
Huh? Quick once over.
You have tuned your receiver to Grand Plan Wireless. We verify before...
Back in business.
Commencing guidance.
Conditions agreed. Vinculum flavor drops are qualitatively... Ascendant counts the most. Warning, the following song mentions some actions that are improper, something your fractions should never be.
Ability and the grand plan. There can be no discussion of the grand plan without also entertaining a deep contemplation of probability. Our ability to predict events to varying certainty is
Stun weapon.
in statistical mathematics. Statistics. Data that is gathered, collated, and subjected to analysis. But what is the role of chance in that analysis? Let's look at the interpretation of pure chance. If one flips a perfectly balanced
Shooting an ally.
it will be
Unorthodox at best.
or tails with a 1 in 2 chance. But are there really 2 outcomes? Is there not one specific outcome we can determine? Yes. With complete information, there can be no chance, only outcome. Complete information yields perfect predictions, 100% accuracy, known outcomes. Now we come to one of the most difficult concepts in the order for initiates to grasp. If the result is known to be heads, is it necessary to flip the coin? Would it not be more efficient to simply go forward as if it had been flipped and proceed with whatever action that flip was intended to choose? What part of that choice was ever left to choose? The answer is none. Only when there is less than complete information will be reduced to chance. At present, we do not have complete information. Instead, we are still forced to deal in probabilities, expected values, and standard deviations.
Hey, what's that sound? Why is the wall of stone soft all of
Forced to estimate outcomes based on assumed distributions of sample populations. Such a travesty. No, not a travesty. A tragedy. A horror. A horror the archive will help us avoid.
Oh, do I detect a whiff of repriority? I should have.
Laughing boy here must be our lead scientist. That gas ought.
Well, this is normally where you'd say something. My. Even to what end are you here? Tell me You know, I'm a proposal. Adequately debate me on the merits and failings of each group's ideology, And I'll provide you what you're here for. Yes, well, you'll see. So, what of the Order? Our former... My position... Though you're... What say you about Auntie's choice, then? That actually sounds to have some slight merit when you put it that way. I mean, your point is not completely without worth. In the Protectorate, we have the best of everything. Food, technology, a sense of belonging, freedom from doubt, worry, hard work. Not word for word, no. I do take certain liberty. I understand you meant that as an insult, but I refuse to be baited by those either jealous or ignorant of our ways. As it is right now? No. Well, you've raised some interesting points, I suppose. You don't think I'd send thousands through our subject? Huh. Yes, it's true. Now, what next? Really? That's exceptionally flattering. And something I never would have considered before our belief-shaking conversation. Might I ask for a few additional particulars? For instance, what is the title of the role? My, that sounds wonderful. I shall have...
Envy our prosperity.
Wait.
Our sense of community.
I was led to believe my case required minimal treatment. But that last session, that was far more intensive. Strong observation, Your Sublime Radiance. We set the lathe to the maximal abradement setting, per instructions. Maximal? Who authorized you to use that setting? I demand the name of my betrayer! Subject is exhibiting increased agitation upon exiting the lathe, consistent with extreme cases. Further abradement recommended. Who are you speaking to? Are you recording this? Enough of this farce! Release me at once!
Threat detected.
Don't like the sound of that at all.
This paradigm we serve supplies all we
Advanced technology and know-how behind the mental refreshment process. That's why we are all happy and contented.
Oh, a new face. I was once a... Yes. Admitting you question as every... You've missed the day... The medicament dispensement the medicament I see head refresher upstairs in the How very... You must mean the lake... You'll feel...
That went better than expected. So this process removes all curiosity.
Greeting, unscheduled walk-in. On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 rounding up for clarity. I am medicament bear.
The top cognitive divisor responsible for making the mental refreshment process.
Traveling at the velocity of light through the vacuum of space on our private...
You've suffered extensive damage, Commander.
Grand Plan Wireless. Informed scientism. Truncated courtesies. I bear a dispatch of great noteworthiness. Our former Protectorate colleagues have undergone a radical leadership shift. I submit this recorded announcement, intercepted from a Protectorate wireless broadcast, as empirical evidence.
Subjects, listen well.
conversation is not possible at this or any time.
Blessed return. I shall not take this duty.
There you have it. An
Only the
objectively momentous
Protectorate
turn of
possesses the
Protectorate
advanced
Medicament dispensement. Medicament dispensement has concluded for
Great. Hello. My name is Hedrick. That only in what? Just ponder. I once was. It is the dude. I am new. I own.
We estimate only 48%.
Wonder what it says about us that we got mistaken for patients.
Yeah.
Certainly not unexpected, given our knowledge of the Protectorate's societal structure and our own relationship with
Think today, unthink tomorrow, unthink forever.
are calculating likely outcomes of these events. Expect addenda to this report as they develop.
End message with an emphatic sign-off such as, you'll never receive solutions.
Found throughout
But
Arcadia.
apparently was a note to self, not to be read aloud.
Further beneficial content soon follows. Avid followers of our
Let the
predictive
paradigm
playlist
worry about
are
tomorrow.
already aware of which song follows. Interested in receiving our weekly selection of
Hostile
mathematical
ahead.
clues?
What display, Commander?
Your local predictory.
Don't hurt him, please. The Sovereign... You're not here to harm him, are you? If so, I must warn you, I will defend the Yes, it is. Our beneficent, infallible ruler, the Sovereign Henry Aloysius. You'll have to forgive him. We've been here since then. He has been receiving... Well, after his first session, the Sovereign was absurd. That all stopped after his next dip into the lathe, thank law. He's remained quite peaceful since. Preposterous. But no, to even this state, I will stay true to him and the Sovereign is receiving the finest possible care as he has every day of his life. Just go, please. Just leave us. Just leave.
Gazing upon the golden spiral, a part that's quite so vital, arcing in a circle motion, giving squares to perfect quotient, 0, 1, 1, and again, 2, 3, 5, and 8, and then 13, 21, not 2, 34, we're counting through.
Go, please. Just leave us.
Need to work on your timing, dear.
Did that earlier, might have done some good.
Next, the latest field data validating or repudiating our forecasts and relevant informational details for near present and future calculations. And now presenting the Department of Nuclear's analysis of Arcadian coherence, specifically its choice, with a focus on shortcomings. It is a straightforward a transaction society inevitably suffers from
Unfriendly
dissatisfaction
nearby.
and fracturing among the population. For empirical evidence, Exhibit A, their product refinement center and chemical plant on Praetor, occupied early in the corporate incursion of that in-house hospitable Elysium moon, ostensibly to create sufficient essential materials, lubricants, additives, skincare products, to feed their war effort and appease the superficial wants of their citizenry. Every new consumable must represent a 110% improvement over the previous one, an insulting hyperbole of mathematics and a gross disappointment for their subjects. And yet both facilities produce more problems than products. The chemical plant is a cesspool of industrial waste, byproducts of Auntie's haphazard production process. The product refinement center is plagued by disgruntlement. A splinter group has threatened a work stoppage over unfair treatment. Even basic biological functions such as urination breaks are transactionalized. Such inefficiency. Production is at a standstill. And rightly so. Only the negotiating expertise of the anomalous outline resolved this stalemate. Production has resumed, yet the divisions in their society remain. The workforce has achieved some leverage in bettering their fate. It is only a matter of time before they threaten work stoppage again. These issues are all symptoms of a larger plague: inefficiency. The corporatists claim their mission statement is the pursuit of self-betterment. In reality, their cutthroat practices and slipshod production methods will only lead to further fracturing and unhappiness, predicted with a 49.7% certainty. Source references, footnotes, and appendices for this analysis will be provided upon request.
Now do carry on. And as always, anticipate and calculate.
Further beneficial content soon follows. And now, more music to perform advanced calculations by.
Are the raw material for perfection. From the lowliest subject to the most exalted vigilant, we must all fulfill our duty to the protectors. We're all
Who's that?
You have tuned your receiver to Grand Plan Wireless. We verify before we amplify. Drink Maxima alcohol-free liquor.
The other brands may be 80 proof, but ours has 80 proof. Recommended on purpose. Collect and study them all.
From the Order of the Ascendant. Never forget, we will unlock humanity's true potential. In due course, in due time, each fulfilling our prescribed role within the grand plan. Consistency in your work is wonderful. Consistency in playlists is not. Now for a new song.
the color of space. Spectral analysis.
Go. Please, just leave us.
So, the Sovereign was undergoing mental... I do not believe for a moment that he truly was in need of it. And I fear... I am no physician, but I understand the dire The Consul shall be made to pay for his part in this.
Bleating, with their faces contorted into a rictus of ignorance. Wouldn't the average color be black or white, or simply a shade of gray? No. No, it would not. The answer is rooted in the science of how hot objects absorb and emit light. This answers the ancillary. Why there are no green stars. To understand all of this, you must understand the basics of thermal divarication emission theory. The typical piece of non-heated absorbs most electromagnetic radiation that falls upon it, including light, infrared, and radio emissions. And the matter reflects only a small portion of that radiation. The visible part of that reflection is its color. However, most stellar objects generate far more radiation. Which is assumed to absorb 100% of all electromagnetic radiation and re-emit some based on its temperature and composition. Stellar composition determines what packets of light will be emitted, while stellar temperature determines the frequency of light and hence what portion of the spectrum. Low temperature emission is infrared and not visible.
That was dedicated to all the innovative minds in the Department of Applied Scientism from their admiring cohort in the Department of Research and Inquiry.
Warning, the following song mentions some actions that are improper.
I'm itching. I'd like to press on.
If that blockade had been...
Always remember, commercialism is the foundation that Auntie's Choice Society is based upon. Not because we worship it, but because of the system's glorious efficacy. While the Protectorate...
I see you're back from the Protectorate's little mind manipulation.
Our team at Proprietary Insight Acquisition has been
Of course you did, my most
Head Refresher Gould will fit right in. Now, I assume you won't mind we have a few questions about the process. Our people will extract details about the... Can't say I like the sound of that.
How truly unfortunate.
What else can you tell us about the place? Turn up any That's certainly... What else? But still, they keep on... Oh, good to know, good to know. Excellent. Along with something extra for your and more for converting Head Refresher Goulds to the... All right. For your next assignment, well, it's something of an organizational
Congratulations. Your story...
So your preliminary chores are complete. Oh, finally, a contractor with a little backbone. Normally they flee or expire, leaving... Ah, I remember you from before. Tell me, as an outside agent, do you have any quandaries working with our organization? Good. Good. Perhaps you can help us. Do hope you'll... So, you've been... Certain communications have even been exchanged between our ship and the Order's headquarters. You've spoken to the delegates, yes? A cessation of hostilities could present any number of potentially profitable options, assuming we could work out favorable Oh, my security team wouldn't. Of course, Ruth would also need to agree. Perhaps if you were to perform a few useful errands for the Order, you might earn a meeting with her to propose the same. Have Ruth reach out when she's...
Good luck, my
Don't let us
ameliorator. Remember, you can't spell heinous.
Ah, so the foot... Oh, where are my manners? Commander, Inez, meet our new benefactor.
Yes, we've met. Now, putting on a show is 40% of the...
Well, I'd say...
Let's try not...
Look, I know I ain't exactly the profile of a...
Perhaps so, but unfortunately I can't... You know how it is. Low-level work...
But we can trust your word as her current supervisor. What sort of performance review might you give this associate?
Well, it's...
That's a reasonable endorsement.
So we have a deal then? I admit that the...
Suppose I can make good on the funding after all. We'll see in time.
So that's it?
Of course not. Unless said folk agree to it. When the time is right, I will reach out to you for further planning. You have...
I'll settle for a moment of rest.
Inquisitive laypeople youth.
Have you returned for yet another round of congratulations?
Can't help but be excited.
Yes, yeah.
Popular topic. To wit, a listener asks, what's this about the mathematician and his propensity for questionable...
I assume... Listen, I got great news. This program you're part of ain't in...
That's... I don't know what that means. But if I'm not out, will I be getting a raise? Is altruism...
Interesting fiction early in his career. These narrative larks did not, shall we say, endure time's unkind judgment quite like his world-shattering humanity-ascending principles. Nor did his associations with entities outside academia, which do not always benefit scientists.
Common date when you performing more labor for Auntie's choice will inevitably bring our fair corporation into further conflict with the Order. So we only have one shot at this. Make it count. I'd offer you...
Composer predicted to have 3
Luckily, our products, and only our products, can reliably prevent that. So I say, don't